My name is Roxanne Dirksen. I'm the owner of VV Therapy, a registered massage therapist, and a Guild-certified Feldenkrais practitioner. This video is on 3 of the basic categories of massage moves that you would find in Swedish techniques, or even just globally these terms are used for massage. I'm going to give you a rundown on these basic moves, and then you can start to build your repertoire using Effleurage, Petrissage, and Tapotement techniques. To begin with, I'll demonstrate Effleurage techniques. Effleurage is used as a beginning technique at the beginning of a massage to actually apply oil. So I've just taken some oil in my hands here, and I'm spreading this oil on in a technique called Effleurage. My pressure is actually a little bit heavier as I come up towards the nearest lymphatic drainage point, which is in her inguinal area here in the front. And I'm just stroking up the inside, and then the back, and then the other side, the outside of the leg. So I'm just using a bit of pressure and then stroking back down. Effleurage is used with perhaps the fingertips you could use, or the entire hand. The more contact that you have with someone's body, the more comfortable they're going to feel. So you can just put the pressure on, push the lymphatic and superficial circulation towards the heart, and then stroke back down lightly. So Effleurage is used between other deeper kneading strokes, and it's used to transition from one stroke to another. So for example, if you were going to start doing some deeper kneading techniques on the legs, you would then transition after having done those techniques, maybe some kneading with your thumbs into the larger muscle groups of the hamstring or the gluteus muscles here. Then you could transition to another move using the Effleurage stroke like that. Just to demonstrate some Effleurage on the back. Draping's very important, so you want to just drape and expose the portion of the body that you're working on. So again, you would use some oil in your hands. And of course, the smoothness and the ability for the person that you're massaging to relax depends upon how smooth you're also moving your hands and your body. Slower Effleurage techniques tend to be more relaxing, and faster moves like this tend to be more stimulating to both the circulation and the nervous system. You could Effleurage in an opposite direction, down towards this inguinal area again, as I mentioned, that you were moving from the legs. And you just lean into it and stroke with a deeper, and use your just light fingertips on the transition back. Okay, so now to demonstrate some kneading techniques. Kneading techniques are deeper tissue moves, so you're no longer just working on the superficial muscle tissue, you're actually working into the deeper muscle layers so that you can actually relax some muscles that are closer to, say, the skeleton, into the joints, and work on larger muscle groups. So just to demonstrate, a kneading technique would be an alternative thumb kneading. So for example, you could take your thumbs and you could work on specific muscles. Here, for example, this is a muscle that becomes very, very tight for people who are working in an office at a desk, and I'm just alternatively kneading the length of the muscle from where it inserts into the bottom of the neck to the top of the shoulder blade. So that's what we call an alternative thumb kneading. Now you can also do alternative fingertip moves like this, where you're actually using your hands in a deeper fashion than with the effleurage, hand over hand, alternatively using your fingertips like that. Or a reinforced move would be where you would actually hold one hand on top of the other, and you would apply a deeper technique just by the pressure from your secondary hand pressing down into your other hand. Now, as you can see, part of the pressure that I'm applying with my arms is actually just the weight of my body moving forward into my hands. So the popular term these days, lean in, is also that you lean in with your moves that you're doing, so that the person can feel the weight of your body behind your hands, and it's not just the effort in your hands. Okay, another example of a kneading technique would be an actual ringing. I did it earlier on the legs, where you would take your two hands and you would actually pick up the flesh slightly and kind of squeeze whichever body part you had between your hands. So for example, you could apply this technique to the arms or to the legs. And here I am just wringing out the back, and this is a very relaxing move, and people really like it actually, and it can be applied at various depths to the point where you could actually just soften it right up, and that would be more like a stroking move, so more like a transitioning into the end of a massage and a finishing move. But as an actual kneading, or what we call Petrissage move, all of these kneading moves are under the category of Petrissage. So there's ringing, alternative thumb, alternative fingertip kneadings, and they're deeper moves that relax the deeper tissues, muscle tissue in the body. Okay, so I've demonstrated effleurage moves, I've demonstrated some petrissage moves, the deeper tissue moves, and the kneading where you would focus and concentrate on specific muscles or muscle groups. I now am going to demonstrate some tapotement moves. Now, tapotement are percussive moves, so they're primarily used to increase circulation. They tend to be more stimulating than relaxing. And some examples are Asian style moves, where you have your hands together and your fingers are just nice and loose, and you use your hands to just kind of stimulate the circulation in the larger muscle groups, like say in the buttock region and in the hamstrings and the lower legs, just being sure that you don't tapote over the back of the knee. There's the popliteal fossa here that is rich with blood vessels and nerves, and it's just a sensitive area, and you wouldn't want to be working very deeply over there. Other kinds of tapotement are actually used for postural drainage and to dislodge mucus from someone's lungs. This is called a cupping move, so you actually take your thumbs and put your thumbs inside your hand and kind of make like a cup, and then you percuss over top of the rib cage and lung region. There's an entire technique towards how you can get a person to actually clear their lungs out, say if they were suffering from bronchitis or something like that. Other percussive moves, you could actually use your fist, just a loose fist, and increase the circulation like this. Say for example, if someone was doing like a sport where they're going to do like a race or running or cycling, you often see people at triathlons and athletic events using these types of percussive moves to stimulate circulation in an athlete after or before an event. So there's a lot of Asian massage actually will use this kind of more clapping or chopping move on smaller muscle groups, even in the back, sometimes even in the head, In the Western world, we tend to find that a little bit too disruptive on the head, but I have experienced that in other countries. So, as far as finishing moves, so say if you were transitioning through an entire full body massage, you might find an array of effleurage being the transitional move between doing some deeper kneading with your fingers and thumbs, and then possibly if you were wanting to increase circulation in the big muscle groups, you could be using these more stimulating tapotement moves.